Hey folks, just want you to check out this 4K clarity in this dash cam. Stay tuned. What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. So this video today is brought to you by one of my sponsors, Dasaita, and I want to introduce one of their newest products. It's the DAS X9s dash cam. And the reason why I chose to do a video on this is because, number one, you can get it either on their site or on Amazon. They actually have a pretty neat Amazon store, so definitely check that out. I'll put it in the link for you guys. But for people on a budget, this dash cam actually gives you a lot for the money. Okay, and I'm going to go over that in a second. Just a little background about Dasaita. They make a lot of neat products. Actually, they make head units for the Subaru platform, Toyota, like Tundras, things like that. And I can't wait for their new G13 head unit to come out because they're going to be sending it my way so I could test it on my Subaru. I did test their G12 unit, but there was a little bit of an issue with my aftermarket sound system, so I had to send it back. It was some type of R&D issue that they had to work out on their end. But anyway, they're very, very helpful. They're very quick on the response time, but they do make good products, and they were at SEMA, so shout out to them. And again, Dasaita, thank you so much for sending this to me. All right, guys, so here it is up close. This is the DAS X9s, and obviously things that come here, you obviously have your user manual, front camera, rear camera. They give you a 128 gig SD card. It can handle up to 256 gigs. You have your hardwire kit right here, and I'll touch on this in a little bit. They give you a pry tool with a couple zip ties, and here is your cigarette lighter plug. It's actually 12 volts to USB Type-C, which is super efficient. Their hardwire kit goes from 12 volts to 5 volts. Guys, the cool thing about this is a super capacitor. The cool thing about super capacitors is that it can handle pretty much being plugged in for a long time and handle a lot of heat and colder temperatures. Normal cameras with like just regular batteries in them cannot do that. So that's why this is good. Okay, this front camera, you have a viewing angle about 170 degrees. The rear camera, you're looking at about 140. Okay, front camera, it's 4K. Rear, you're looking at 1080p. The rear camera, you could turn that lens, the entire body of the camera, all the way around. I think the front lens is about 77 degrees of rotation. Okay, the cameras actually comes equipped with the Sony 335 sensor, which is not bad, actually pretty good. High dynamic range and a 6-layer lens. Now, the cool thing about this hardwire kit is you can do 24-hour parking mode in it. So you can actually set it where you can set it up where you have 12 hours, where it shuts down after 12 hours, shuts down after 24 hours, or shuts down after 48 hours. So you can set that up how you want, so you're not draining your battery too bad, you know what I'm saying? And once you put it in parking mode, it does like a time-lapse type mode, which is pretty good. So just a couple things on the side right here. From the top, you have the OK button, the M for menu, and you have your selector buttons left and right, power button on the top. This is a padding right here covering the USB Type-C port. I just pulled it off for you. And this back piece right here is removable. This contains your GPS right in here, which is actually pretty nifty. Let me slide that back in, and snaps back in. So that's actually pretty good. So once you stick this on the glass, you could actually just slide your camera to remove the camera just in case. Also, I forgot to mention, this thing has about a 4.37-inch screen. So it's a nice wide display. All right, guys, a couple things before I forget. Attached to this rear camera is the extension cable. This goes from the front camera, it extends all the way. You got to route it in your car. I don't care how you route it, but just route it neatly. That's why they give you this pry tool. Okay, so you route it, you connect it to the front camera, route it to the rear, and you're set. They actually give you a lot of helpful information in this user manual, from using the cigarette lighter plug, connecting that to the hardwire kit. Okay, now just a couple things. Once you open up this manual, once you open up the box, there's a QR code right here. You scan it, okay, and it's going to take you to the app. Okay, so once you get into that app, you can obviously do live views, playbacks, download the videos, and so forth. We're going to get into that a little bit later, but here's what I want to talk to you about. This is their hardwire kit. This is a very, very, very good kit. There's a little bit of a snag though. Now, the highlights of this kit, it goes from 12 volts to 5 volts. So you're not pulling a lot of juice while the car is in parking mode, or meaning while it's off. Okay, and they give you the information in here on where to connect which wire. So see, this black is to ground. Okay, you got to bolt that or connect that somewhere into a ground. Okay, the yellow wire right here, you're going to be connecting this to a permanent connection. That is a connection or fuse that always has power even when the car is off. Then this red wire, you're going to be connecting it to an ACC fuse or a switch connection that only has power when you turn the ignition on. Okay, now once you fulfill those parameters, you connect the USB Type-C to the camera, and that's how you can go into the app or in the camera and set how you want the camera to function. Because once you go into parking mode, it does a lot of time lapses and stuff and draws little power. And you could set the camera to power down, okay, so it's not drawing any more charge, either 12 hours, 24 or 48 hours. Also, this 128 gig card that they give you right here, once you put this in before your camera and stuff starts recording, it goes into this slot right here. Once you put that bad boy in, make sure you format it so you don't lose any saved files, because it's going to ask you. Now, as I said, once the camera gets to 12, 24 or 48 hours, it's going to automatically shut down. Okay, now once it goes into that parking mode, it'll take a time-lapse video and 90 minutes of footage, it'll compress it into 3 minutes, which is actually pretty cool. Also, this has a built-in system where if your battery gets down to 11.6 volts, it's gonna completely kill the power. All right, so before I, rip apart my daughter's car, because she already has a dash cam in there, but it's a very old, outdated dash camera. It still does its job, but still I want something a little more responsive, better quality, and so forth. And her dash cam, I think it does 1080p at 30 frames. This does obviously 4K at 30 frames and also 1080p in the rear. Okay, but that camera, the app kind of glitches and stuff like that. So this was like the perfect time to install this right here. Now, here's what I want to touch on. I'm touching on this hardwire kit right here. So now, they actually did a really, really good job of already connecting the wire to a fuse. Okay, now this doesn't pull a lot because remember, it goes from 12 volts to 5 volts. Okay, so all you're using is about 2.5 amps, max. So these fuses are pretty small. But here's the issue. The issue is they never gave one of these. This, for people who don't know, it's called an adafuse. This right here is for ATM fuses, and that's exactly what they gave. The prongs on the fuse literally look like an ATM fuse. So this would be perfect for this type of adafuse. So let's say this yellow wire is supposed to connect to a permanent connection. So let's say we connect it to like the door lock fuse that always has power even when the car is off. So what would happen is, let me pull these out real quick and I'll explain what I mean. So let's say the door lock fuse, you pull out this 10 amp fuse from the door lock, okay? You pull that out and then you take this yellow one and you plug this one into the top. See how nice it fits? So now what would happen is, now this yellow wire has power. And obviously you would just tape this up. Normally what would happen is they would give you the wire without any fuse connected to it. Okay, so what would happen is when you put the fuse to the top, you'd have to take this yellow wire, strip it a little bit, put it on this end and crimp it, if you get what I'm saying. But they already connected the wire to the fuse, so we're all good. But here's the problem. The problem is they're assuming that this car took an ATM fuse. And guess what? It doesn't. My daughter's car takes this. This is a micro, it's a very, very low profile fuse. This is 20 amps right here. It's a very, very, very low profile fuse. So you have to get the added fuse. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put something up real quick just to show you. All right, guys, so I'm gonna put something up on the side and I just wanna show you something. So you see this assortment of added fuses right here? And you know, it comes with fuses, like, so you can get like assortments of standard, micro, mini, and low profile mini fuses, okay? But I just want to show you this. So obviously from left to right, okay, on their screen recording, you're gonna see that large fuse, and then you're gonna see the ATM fuse, which is in the blue. Then you have a mini fuse, which is in the yellow, and you have that micro fuse, which is the one that looks like the one I showed you, my daughter's fuse right here. This is a micro fuse, okay? And what you would have to do is obviously you would get that. If you want to do this hardwire kit, you just go on Amazon and it's pretty cheap, you know what I'm saying? But you can get these fuses with assortment of fuses, and I think these take, I would say this probably takes around, I would say maybe 5 amps tops, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think it's a huge load on this. So what I would do is, you know, at that point, obviously you would connect your low profile micro fuse, okay? So this 20 amp fuse right here, I took this out of a circuit that only has power when the ignition is on. So it doesn't matter. So whatever circuit you take out, you would take the one that you pull out from the fuse box, put it to the bottom, okay? And then the new fuse, okay, that's controlling the circuit for the hardwire kit, that's the one you put to the top slot. And then obviously you would cut these fuses off of the wire right here, okay, because it's not taking an ATM fuse, okay? So you're gonna cut this off, slightly strip the wire, you're gonna put the wire, you're gonna insert the wire in here, crimp it, and call it a day. So this red one, you gotta connect it to a power source that only has power when the ignition is on, and the yellow one, that obviously connects to a power source when the ignition, if it is off or on, that circuit always has power. And obviously your ground goes to, I would say, there's you know, drill a small hole, or either tap into another ground, or as I said, bolt it to a piece of metal on the chassis, and that's it. All right, guys, for the interest of those who want to hardwire their dash cam, obviously you pull off your fuse box cover, and right here you have the name of all the fuses and the amperage of the fuses that coincide with that particular fuse, okay? So now what you want to do is, there's 2 fuses in mine, okay? I have right here this 7.5 amp fuse. The name of it, that's a spare, okay? And the one right above it is a 10 amp fuse, that's a module, okay? Now I'm gonna probe this right here. This is my tester. It's actually, the negative portion is grounded to the chassis. There's a piece of metal in there, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is, each fuse has 2 metal contact points, okay? I'm gonna touch one of the contact points and see if it lights up. Right now the key is out of the ignition. So if this 7.5 amp fuse lights up, that means it's a permanent connection. That means it has power when the car is off, and that's where the yellow wire goes. Ready? And there you have it. So that 7.5 amp fuse right there, that's a permanent connection. That's where that yellow wire goes. Now we have to find an ACC fuse, or a switch connection. That means it's a fuse that has power when the ignition is turned on. So that module fuse, which is 10 amps, I'm gonna touch the tester to it and see if it lights up. Okay, let's touch it. Turn the ignition on. Now watch as the ignition goes on. Bam, lights up. Turn it off. And there you have it. So that's where I would be putting my adaffuses. As I said, all you would have to do is get, well, for this particular car, you would have to get a micro adafuse. Okay, so that micro adafuse, it literally looks just like the one I showed you, but the actual fuse, these blades are gonna be like super short. It's gonna be really stubby. So I'm gonna have the link in Amazon so you guys can purchase it or whatever. So you guys have to figure out what type of fuse you have, and running adaffuses would be easy. Okay, so this is her current dash cam. It's called a Cross Tour, and it actually has a rear camera portion as well. So I'm gonna take this boy apart real quick, because I actually routed it super neat, like where you can't see anything. It's all up in the headliner. So I'm gonna take it off, reroute this new one, and then we'll come back and mess around a little bit with the app. All right, guys, so the install is complete. This is the power right here. This cigarette lighter plug gets inserted. I actually have an adapter where it shows me like the voltage and stuff like that. So I plugged it in here. It actually has a USB port right here in case you want to charge anything. I routed it super neat as usual. Can't see anything. Routed it up the A-pillar all the way to the back and stuck the rear camera. Now, food for thought, guys. When you're doing this, make sure the lens, oh, by the way, I actually have my rug, my Hulk rug over this because it's so bright outside, there's a lot of glare and you won't be able to see the camera or what I'm doing. But as I was saying, what you want to do is the dash cam itself, you want to make sure you line up the lens portion, the lens with this right here, this part of the mirror, because that's pretty much the center line down the car. And the rear camera, there's an actual there's a pop clip towards the back, and you want to line up the lens with that clip, because, or the middle of that seat rest, that headrest right there, directly in the middle of that, that's the center line of the car. Line up the lens with that, because you want the lens to actually be in the center of the car, if you get what I'm saying. So we're gonna power this thing on for the first time and let's see how it looks. Yeah, there we go. Comes on instantly. Let's take this bad boy off. Oh yeah. Now, as I told you, look what it says. The first message you see, please format the SD card for the first time. See what I'm saying? So, I guess let's do that. So now let me just prop this camera real quick. All right, guys, so I propped this the best that I could. So I'm literally using like my snow brush, and trust me, you don't want to know. But anyway, the moment this thing gets power, it starts right up. There is no delay whatsoever. I actually like that a lot. There is no delay whatsoever. And once you start, it goes right into recording mode. But before we do that, on the dash camera itself, on the upper left-hand corner, is telling you you're recording in 4K plus full HD. That is because it's showing two views, a front view and a rear camera view. Okay, it's showing the time, it's showing the date, okay? It's showing the recordings are 1 minute, and it shows that the G sensor is on, audio recording is on, and there's a little satellite on the upper right-hand corner that is for the GPS. Okay, so we're live. So obviously the first thing it says here, please format the SD card. Now, I think as soon as you press any button, it's gonna go right there. It's formatting will erase all data on this card, okay? So, remember what I showed you before, on the sides of the camera, the top button is the OK, then the second one down. So the top is OK, second one down is menu, and there's 2 select up and down buttons right here. So we're gonna hit confirm, hit OK, and it's formatting. That's the first thing. Any good dash cam would tell you. And now once you format, it goes right into recording. You see that blinking red light on the upper left-hand corner. So now we're gonna have to go in there, guys, and pretty much mess around with the date and stuff like that. Okay, so obviously you could see right here that rear view camera, I still have to set it, meaning the angle, because I just mounted it. I didn't set the angle. Okay, so I'll show you that afterwards. We're gonna take a drive a little bit after. All right, but I'm just trying to go through some of the settings right now. So guys, once it starts recording, you have to stop it before you go into the menu. So you hit the OK button to the top, it's gonna stop, then you go down, you hit the menu. Now once you hit the menu, you can select through. You get what I'm saying? You can select through it, use the up and down button, and it has loop recording for a minute. You can go in there and increase that time. Okay, let's go in there. So it has 1 minute, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So I'm gonna hit OK on that 1 minute, and we're gonna go back right into the menu. Speaker volume, low, middle. I'm gonna put that on middle so we can hear that properly. Hit OK. Okay, the G sensor, this is important. Oh, that speaker button is pretty loud. Damn, I might have to lower that back. G sensor, medium, it's on, leave it on medium. Hit the up and down button. Screensaver, let's see. Yeah, we could either, yeah. So the screensaver is pretty much, you don't have to see the road the entire time. So let's go in here. Screensaver after a minute. Yep, that's perfect. Hit OK. I think it's loud. I'm gonna have to put that back on low. Okay, so let's go down to date and time. Hit OK. So now we are 2024. To move across, you have to hit the menu button. So once you set 2024, that's the year, you have to move across to the month. Okay, so we're still in September. It's the 30th. Hit the menu. And this is the time. You'd have to do military, so it's after 2 right now, so that's 1,400 hours and 20, let me see, and 29 minutes. So date format, I like to do month, day, and year. So let's do that. Month, day, year, perfect. Time format, you can either do military or 2:29 p.m. That's perfect. And we're gonna leave that there. Confirm. Hit the menu button, hit OK, and we good. So we got that squared away. Rear screen flip. Now guys, it depends on how you wire that dash cam. If you wire it from the, like say, if you wire it from the front and you're going to the passenger side to the back, you might be able to just leave it the normal way, or it might be upside down. So it all depends on how you're wiring the rear dash cam. But it actually gives you the option to flip it. You get what I'm saying? And that is important. So let's go in here real quick. Rear screen flip on. You could, let's say, if we turn it off, what happens? Let's see. See? Okay. Let's go. So now, yeah. So now what happens is, because I flipped it, my trailer is on on the left side, and yeah, no, we can't do that. Cannot do that. We got to put the trailer back where it was. So we got to go back into the menu. So we obviously hit OK to stop it. Now we can go in the menu and go back to rear screen flip. OK, on, OK, and we're back. And it should have it as normal. Language is English, so obviously we don't need to go in there. Boot sound. Obviously that's the sound it makes when it starts up. You could either turn it on or off, or leave it on. Okay, audio recording, that's on. Wi-Fi, plate number. You can put in your plate number in here if you'd like. Okay, so now, let's see, parking monitoring. Obviously we're not gonna be able to do that because guess what? It's not hardwired. Notice it gives you an error message. So let's go into speed unit. Right now it's in kilometers an hour. We're gonna use miles per hour. Okay, let's go down. Format, we already did that. Has default setting and version. Okay, so we're pretty much straight. I am going to, oh yeah, I have to lower the speaker volume. That thing is super loud. Okay. Whew, there we go. All right. Now once you hit back, it starts recording automatically. So guys, be aware of that. Remember, as I said, the front lens, you can move that up or down, okay? Because it has degrees, 77 degrees of rotation. So just be aware of that, okay? So I have to adjust the lens in the rear, and I gotta do the front, okay? So, all right, so I'm gonna do a quick screen recording here just to show you the app. So we're gonna go ahead, scan that QR code, okay? Click on that bad boy, and it's gonna take you right to the Google Play Store. I have an Android, okay? Install. Okay, once it installs it, open it up, agree. Okay, you have not added a camera, so add camera. Need location permission to connect to the Wi-Fi, please allow location permission. Hit okay, and obviously hit while using the app. All right, it says install the camera and power it on. Please install the camera as above shown, then connect the camera to power, because it thinks it doesn't have power, but it actually does. So hit next. We're gonna go to the Wi-Fi, connect Wi-Fi. It's gonna take me there. It's just pretty much telling you everything that we already did. All right, guys, so with this particular camera, you have to go into the settings, turn on the Wi-Fi. So let's do that. Once you turn the Wi-Fi on, it's gonna show up. It's gonna say, waiting for WLAN connection. And it shows you the SSIDs, Dasaita, and the password, okay? So now I should be able to see Dasaita pop up here on my Wi-Fi connections. Let's see for a second. There it is. So once it pops up, now it should ask you for the Wi-Fi password. I already plugged it in. I'm just showing you right here. Now, it says here, if you connect to this network without internet access, you can only connect this time, or you can set your phone to always connect to it even when the internet isn't available. Just hit connect only this time. Okay? All right, so now we're connected. So let's go back to the app, open it. There we go. quality of the live view is adjusted to give you the best experience. To watch the original recordings, go to the camera. All right, so now we can control this right here. We can pause the recording, as you can see. Okay. You can flip the view that we have. Let's flip it back. Take a picture. It's gonna switch to photo mode. Took that little picture right there. Okay. Go into settings or camera settings, and you can see everything right here. So you could literally go here, okay, and pretty much adjust everything, well, most of the stuff right in here anyway. Okay. Video resolution, 4K, 2K, 1080p, loop recording, light source frequency, I have it, let's leave it on 60 Hertz. Time watermark, turn that on. It says collision sensing is on medium, that's the G sensor. Automatic screen time off, I already set it to 60 seconds, that's why you see it right here. Wi-Fi name, Dasaita, blah, 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 and the Wi-Fi password. Guys, you can actually change this if you'd like. See how it says, please enter a new password? Please re-enter a new password. Guess what? You could change this, okay? Firmware version, format SD card, and factory reset, okay? Let's back out of here. Camera file. So it support automatic download of photos when entering playback. Do you want to enable it? Yes. Please open the storage permissions of photos, the videos in the application. Allow all. Okay. So now we have a recording down to the bottom right here. That's the rear camera. There it is. So now we can either download that, take a screenshot. Okay. Let's do a quick download and see what happens. The download isn't bad as well. It's moderately quick. I've had cameras before where it would try to download, then stop and stick. It's not a bad download at all. Now the date is off because remember, at the time it started recording, I didn't mess around with the date yet. Now, here's the thing. Let's go into my file and see if we actually have. Oh, guess what? It downloaded it real time. That's pretty good. Let's see.
Blinking red.
See it?
And light on the upper left-hand corner.
So that's me right there. So let me just delete that out of here. Delete. Delete. Okay. So now let's go back to the app. So guys, once you download this, it actually gets it goes in there real time. That's actually pretty damn cool. All right. So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna take a quick ride and see how see the quality of this. All right. What's happening, guys? It's a little bit later. I'm taking a quick ride, but I wanted to share a couple things with you. So don't forget the little plastics that are on the lens. Please take them off and wipe down the lenses before you guys start using the camera. Don't forget that. It's easy to forget. And to tell you the truth, on Amazon, this camera would cost you around 140 to 150 bucks, somewhere around there. And to tell you the truth, that's not bad, because I've paid like roughly like 130 bucks for just a front camera, you know what I mean, back in the day. And for a 2-channel camera where one of them is 4K 30 frames per second with a 170-degree viewing angle, and the other is 1080p, the rear camera with a 140-degree viewing angle. So you're getting, for 150 bucks for a 2-channel camera, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? And I think that's a win, because to get quality, and obviously there's tons of dash cams out there, but something that's quality is hard to come by. And that's what you're definitely getting here. It's definitely a quality piece, and the clarity is super, super nice. Like, you could just see for yourself. So guys, definitely like, subscribe, comment. I think this is a really, really good camera for if you're on like a budget. And to tell you the truth, not only, as I said, it's a super capacitor, you can hardwire it for parking mode. There's a lot of nice features on this, especially app functionality. You know, I mean, the downloads are pretty good. And guys, don't forget, if you're downloading a 4K video, it's probably going to take longer with the front camera than the rear camera, just slightly. But as I said, it's great for the budget. So guys, so honestly, I think this is a really, really good bang for the buck. Definitely like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. Dasaita, thank you so much for sending me this camera. And guys, don't forget, Dasaita was at SEMA. So these guys have been around, they make quality stuff. And I hope you guys found some value in this video. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.